Hello, welcome everybody. It is very nice to see you all. I see quite a few people have joined us today. This event will be recorded, just so everyone knows. My name is Monika Wojtachnio. I am a senior study abroad manager at Baltic Council Polish office. So today I am very happy to welcome at this webinar a lovely colleague from Trinity College Dublin. She will tell you all about how it is to study in Ireland and specifically at Trinity College. You will be able to ask a few questions at the end, hopefully, if we have time for it. But right now, without further ado, I will just allow Chiara to tell you all about Ireland and Trinity College, and at the end, I will also tell you a little bit about Baltic Council and what we do, because we are a company that helps with applications to universities all around the world. So we'll tell you more about this. But for now, Chiara, take the stage. And you're very much welcome here at our webinar.
Thank you, Monika. I'm very excited to be here today to give you a little bit of an overview of what it would look like to study in Ireland, and of course at Trinity College Dublin specifically. But as a non-Irish person myself, as you might have noticed by my name and accent, I can only recommend coming to Ireland to study because of many, many different reasons that I will illustrate in a second. I'm originally Swiss, but I moved here 3 years ago, and I'm very excited about Trinity as a whole. So why would you choose to come to Ireland in the first place? I feel like Ireland has been a little bit of an overlooked country. When people think about studying abroad opportunities, they very often think about the UK, the US, maybe even the Netherlands, but they don't really look at Ireland the way they should, I think. Thankfully, in the last few years, this has changed a little bit after Brexit, etc. But I really can't stress enough how life in Ireland is excellent. So first and foremost, we are the only English-speaking country left in the European Union after Brexit. We are also a very safe, friendly, and welcoming nation. Again, I'm not Irish myself, and when I moved here, I can only confirm that this is indeed the land of the 100,000 welcomes. This is actually a Celtic or an Irish saying in the Irish language, and I can only confirm that that's true. Ireland is also known for its bustling cities such as Dublin, Cork, or Galway, but also, and first and foremost, because of its beautiful countryside. I think it's really worth coming to Ireland and visit the beautiful Greenland that it is, with a lot of historical sites as well. We're also known for our world-class academic excellence. Well, it's not only Trinity that is a top-notch university in Ireland. There's plenty of others that offer a wide range of different programs. So if you're interested in coming to an English-speaking country and learn in top level universities, definitely consider Ireland. We don't only attract people because of our studying options, but also for a multitude of skilled job opportunities across all sectors, notably finance and business, but also ICT and tourism and hospitality. So there's plenty of job opportunities in Ireland. And everything I told you so far makes us a real young, dynamic, and multicultural society, which is one of the things that I appreciate the most about Ireland specifically. I usually follow this with a short video about Ireland. Unfortunately, we just tested this and we realized its videos are not really supported on this platform. However, we will share the slides with you later on, and you can also find these videos online, so you will have an opportunity to see them on your own. Apologies for the problem, the technical problem that could never be missed. So once you decide to come to Ireland as a country, why would you choose to come to Dublin specifically? Well, Dublin is the Irish capital, so it's a very young, dynamic capital city in Europe. It's very well connected to other places in Europe, but also Northern America, for example. As I mentioned, we're known for our academic excellence. Dublin is not only the home of Trinity College, but also technical universities, surgery universities, so there's plenty of options there. We've been named the European Tech and Innovation Hub, so there's plenty of multinational companies that have their headquarters here, and not only that, we're also UNESCO City of Literature because of the long history and tradition in this specific sector as well. You might know or not know that a lot of playwrights and authors and poets are actually Trinity graduates, such as, for example, Bram Stoker, Oscar Wilde, but also Samuel Beckett. So there's a long history and tradition of literary culture in Dublin. So I think it's really a city that offers a lot to its students and inhabitants as a whole. So once we narrowed it down to Dublin, why would you consider Trinity College Dublin as well? Well, we were founded in 1592 and as such have a really, really long history and tradition in education, teaching and research alike. We pride ourselves in offering a unique, innovative and life-changing experience to our students in this beautiful historical campus that is located in the heart of Dublin City. This is not something that many universities can claim because very often their campuses are a little bit in the outskirts of the city, but being as old as we are, we were literally in the heart of the capital city of Ireland. Of course, we always try to connect this old tradition with 21st century knowledge, technology, and learning approaches as well. And this combination between past, present, and future is also very evident in our architecture. So we have a beautiful campus, and there's ancient buildings and modern buildings on campus alike. These two that you see on the slide, for example, are only 500 meters apart. But the first one, you might have recognized it, is our beautiful old library. This is a repository library, which means that every single book that has ever been published in Britain or Ireland and that will ever be published there is collected in this library. And we're also proudly collecting another very important book called the Book of Kells. So this is actually a place that people come to Dublin to see and visit. And on the other hand side of our slide, you can find this very beautiful, modern and zero carbon emission building that is currently hosting our prestigious business school. So as you can see, there's plenty of things going on. We have changed radically since our beginnings. We have become a really extensive and world recognized university in the meantime. So, as I mentioned, we're located in the heart of Dublin, but we're also building some new facilities in the Docklands, which is where the global innovation hub of Dublin City is located. And this is where a lot of local and multinational companies have their headquarters, as I mentioned previously. And we as Trinity College have a lot of collaboration agreements with these companies to allow our students, especially in certain areas such as computer science, engineering, but also pharmacy, medicine, business and law, to do an internship during their studies so they can really practice their own profession before they even graduate. And then they can also build those very important networks that will allow them to find a job easily after they graduate. Everything I told you so far doesn't only make us Ireland's oldest, but also leading university. We're #1 in Ireland and 87th in the world, according to this year's QS World University Rankings. And there's two more things that I always like to mention about Trinity that might not be as well known. The first one being that we have been named the university in Europe that produces the most entrepreneurs. That means that not only we have really high employability rates and our students find a job very easily once they graduate, but it also means that very often they don't even go and work for someone else. they graduate and they open their own businesses and startups, which is a real testament to all the skills that they developed during their studies at Trinity. And the other thing that is very close to my heart as well is that 35% approximately of our student body comes from outside of Ireland. So we really, really do attract talents from all over the island, but also elsewhere. There's, I think, 140 different nationalities represented here, only in our student body. But of course, also our faculty and staff members are very international, myself included. So this is really a great place to be studying in a diverse and dynamic environment where different points of view come together and are really appreciated. So what exactly can you study at Trinity? Well, we have hundreds of programs at bachelor and master's level. So I won't be able to mention them all individually, but they're generally speaking divided into faculties and schools. We have three main faculties: the Faculty of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, where students can specialize in histories, languages, and cultures, but also political science, social work, business and law, for example. They can do philosophy, psychology, and so many more things. Then we also have a Faculty of Health Sciences, where students can specialize in medicine, dentistry, nursing, but also pharmacy. And we're really, really highly regarded worldwide for our pharmacy courses as well. And then we have a Faculty of STEM that you might know stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Maths. And here students can do computer science, engineering, natural sciences, and mathematics as well. We also have two affiliated schools, one for education and the other one for acting and directing. So basically, we cover quite a few subjects. So we might be of interest to many, many different students. So a particular aspect of the Faculty of Arts, Humanities, and Social Science is that we do offer what we call single honors and joint honors. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but basically, if you go for a single honors, it means that you focus on one specific subject, for example, history, and you gain a degree in that specific subject. If, on the other hand, you have multiple interests and skills, then you can actually combine two subjects together and gain a joint honors degree in both subjects. For example, history and language, or political science and social policy, or business and law together. A very popular combination is also film and music, if you're interested in the arts. So there's plenty of possible combinations there. And as Trinity, we also offer two programs that are unique to us. No other university in Ireland offers it, and those are called BES and PPS, where business, economics, social studies, and philosophy come together, are studied in the first year, and then students can make an informed decision whether they want to continue with a single honors, or joint honors, a major minor type of combination later on. So there's plenty of things to choose from. Then, as I mentioned, we have a Faculty of STEM, and this faculty has also some peculiarities. So one of the unique features in particular is that most of our courses are what we call common entry courses with a specialization after 2 years. That means that the students that choose, for example, biological and biomedical sciences, or engineering, or geography and geoscience, they can do they will follow a common curriculum during the first 2 years, and then they specialize in one of the streams that we offer. A very popular course in this faculty is the biological and biomedical sciences, where students can specialize in things that are more close to the natural sciences, such as botany or zoology, but they can also specialize in the health sciences research department, like in human genetics, immunology, molecular medicine, neuroscience as well, etc. So that is an excellent opportunity for students with a scientific mind to explore their preferred branch of the science. Engineering and computer science also allow students to go for a 5-year integrated master's if they want to do so. And in this case, they will have placement opportunities, study abroad opportunities, and many other things included in the curriculum. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I can tell you about this faculty at a glance. And this leaves us with the last but not least faculty of health sciences. This faculty is known for the very hands-on practice-oriented approach that he has, because we work closely with our clinical partners on the territory, but we also integrate cutting-edge research. So students studying here really have great opportunities learning from teachers that are professionals, teachers that are researchers, teachers that are clinical experts as well. So there's plenty to choose from. And in some cases, like for example in dentistry, we also have courses with different lengths and focuses depending on career goals. So for example, if you want to become a dentist, you can do the 5-year dental sciences program. But if you have more of an interest in dentistry as a dental technologist, you can also do a shorter course to become a dental technologist as well. Some of the unique features that are across all the faculties is that our courses allow students to personalize their studies. So in very many cases, students can choose from open modules, electives. In some cases, they can do placements. In most cases, they can go on a global mobility. And all the courses end with a capstone project, which is a really important thesis project that they will develop to really be prepared to enter the workforce after graduation. When it comes to Trinity electives, I always like to delve a little bit deeper on this topic, because this is a list of currently 44 modules that we encourage students to take even outside of their faculty if they're interested in doing so. So for example, if someone is studying engineering, but they have a passion for Korean language and culture, they can actually take a course in that sector, or vice versa. If someone is studying philosophy, but they recognize the importance of emerging technologies or immunology in this day and age, then they can actually also choose an elective from this list. And this comes to no additional cost in terms of workload, because this is included in the curriculum. So these are 5 credit modules that are part of your 30 credits per semester that you have to do. So great opportunity to explore and expand your horizons. Speaking of which, I always like to highlight the fact that the Trinity has almost 600 collaboration agreements currently with universities worldwide, allowing its students to go away for a semester or for a full year on a global mobility. So they can do it in Europe under the Erasmus program that you might be familiar with, or they can even go elsewhere in the world under the study abroad umbrella. And this is a great opportunity for students to really explore the world, travel, meet new people, possibly learn a new language, and first and foremost, learn study their own subjects from a different perspective, which is really important nowadays, where our world is so globalized. I really don't think there are many work environments that don't include a certain degree of interdisciplinarity or culturality in them. Sorry about that. So it's really important for students to start developing these type of skills even before they graduate. If we're talking about international opportunities, I also would like to let you know that we have a collaboration agreement with another highly regarded university worldwide. And this is Columbia University in New York City in the United States. We do have 2 different programs in collaboration with them. The dual BA, which allows students to do the first 2 years in Trinity and then year 3 and 4 in Columbia, and also dual master's pathway, which is a 4+1 type of combination for engineers. And that's an excellent opportunity for students to actually do 2 bachelor's, earn 2 bachelor's degrees from both universities at the same time as they would do just one. So for the dual BA, for example, there's a number of different academic programs that students can choose from, mainly in the humanities and STEM. So as you can see here on the slide, if you're interested in film, English studies, geography, history, philosophy, but also maths, neuroscience, and things like that, you could actually decide to apply for a dual BA at Columbia and Trinity jointly. What is student life like? Well, we currently have 23,000 students on campus, so we're quite a big university in terms of numbers as well. And as I mentioned previously, they come from all over the world, and they're very, very active inside and outside the classroom alike. So, for example, we're very famous for our student clubs and societies. We currently have 170, 50 of which are just dedicated to sports. So if you have an interest in sports, we're probably covered. We also have great sports facilities on campus and opportunities for sports scholarships as well. So there's plenty there for active and athletic students. And the other 120 societies cover a little bit of everything from debate to cultures, languages, food and dance and whatnot. So there's plenty of options there too. Fun fact, 2 of our societies are actually the oldest working student societies in the world, not even in Europe, in the world. So there's a little bit of prestige attached to them as well. And then last but not least, at the end of every academic year, we organize the Trinity Ball. This is a festival-like celebrations where students come together on campus. The campus is close to the public at that point. There's stages and concerts going on, and it's a great opportunity for students who studied hard the whole year to come together and celebrate their academic achievements. And this, another fun fact, has been named Europe's biggest private party, and it's happening every April on our grounds. These were a few other snippets that I added in the presentation to show you a little bit what our campus life looks like and the Trinity Ball looks like, but unfortunately I won't be able to show them to you now, but again, you can find them online as well. And after all this social buzzing, I also want to mention something that is very important, which is that we know that it's not always easy to make this transition from high school years into academic life, especially if you're coming from abroad, from a different country. You possibly have to adapt to a new environment, a new language. You don't know many people. So it can happen that the first few months or even beyond that, you might find the experience a little bit challenging. And that's totally normal. You don't have to worry about it. We just want you to know that whenever you come to Trinity, you will be taken care of. There is plenty of student support systems in place, from academic registry to IT, but also sports and estates and facilities. So if you have any problems in that regard, you can always go to someone. But I always like to mention that we also have health, mental health, counseling, disability services, student learning, career, accommodation advisory services. So for any type of problem and query, please know that there is someone there that is willing to help you. Another thing that people might not know is that every single student who comes to Trinity is not only allocated one tutor, but 2. One is going to be an academic tutor. This is going to be a professor that you can go to for any queries about, for example, module selection, or if you're not happy with the result of an exam, you can appeal the decision through your tutor. If you want to go on a mobility, you can go and talk to him as well. So there's plenty of academic support in that sense. But if that wasn't enough, we also pair every single student with a student mentor, an older student that has been at Trinity for a little bit longer and might be a great support for someone that just arrived in town and doesn't know much about accommodation, visa, banking options, etc. So they can go to their student mentor as well. Last but not least, we also have a place on campus called the Global Room that we call a home away from home for Trinity's international, but also domestic students. This is a place where staff members and student ambassadors are always present in case you have any questions, and where we regularly organize cultural events. For example, Lunar New Year, Holy Festival, Bastille Day, American Thanksgiving, of course, St. Patrick's, and so many other options. Literally every 2 or 3 days, there's a cultural event happening in the Global Room. So that's a great place to be, meeting new people, getting to know new cultures, and having some fun outside of the classroom as well. So if everything I told you so far sparks your interest, and I really hope it does, let me get into the nitty-gritty of a little bit more boring part of the presentation with all the application procedures, but it's very important to know in case you're interested in coming to Trinity how this works. In Ireland, in particular, application procedures are tied to your fee status, which is mainly based on your tax residency more than your nationality. But I'm assuming that I'm talking here to mainly European students in this call, so I will talk mainly about that. But if there are any questions about international students that are non-Europeans, then we can also have a look at that later on. So, as I mentioned, there's 2 main categories, EU fee status and non-EU fee status. So if you are a student that is living, studying, paying taxes with their families in a European country, and by EU, we also include EEA states such as Norway, Liechtenstein, Iceland, Switzerland, and the UK. So there's plenty of countries included in this category. Then you don't really apply directly to the university of your choice in Ireland. You do have to apply via the Central Applications Office, also known as the CAO. So this is a nationwide system that you go through, and applications for this always open in November and close in February for restricted courses and in May for non-restricted courses. Since everything is based on your final degree and transcripts, offers are sent out really late in the game, so there's no conditional offers, and everything happens after final degrees are submitted. So this is generally speaking in August. We know that this is very late, unfortunately, and this is not very ideal for the students, but also not for us. But unfortunately, it's kind of a nationwide system that we can't really change in that sense. So this is how it works for European fee status students. So how do you apply? At least the application procedure is very simple and straightforward. You can apply on the CAO portal. You can do it online. You pay the application fee just once, and then you can select up to 10 different programs per cycle. So that's great. You don't have to choose a specific area of interest. You can actually apply to different things. So for example, if you have an interest in mathematics, but also history, you can apply to both courses or multiple courses within Trinity or across Ireland. So for example, if you're interested in law, you can apply to all the law programs in Ireland as well. It's important to note that you should put everything in genuine order of preference, because that will give you most opportunities to actually get offered your first choice. And then, as I mentioned previously, everything is based on final results. So once you've done the online procedure, you will have to wait until your final results are sent in. And once that is done, you will be assessed based on that. Everything has to be posted to the CAO office only, not to the university. Unless you're doing an IB, in that case, we will be able to submit everything electronically. But if you're doing the Polish Matura, for example, in that case, you will have to post it with the relative translations. And the other good, positive information about this system is that no additional material is required. So no personal statements, recommendations, predicted grades are requested. You just need to post your final degrees and transcripts and translations in case they are not in English already. So, what are the entry requirements specifically to get into Trinity? We have different levels. The first one being the minimum entry requirements. These are the same for all the courses. So whether you're interested in philosophy or physics, doesn't matter. You will have to have, generally speaking, 6 recognized subjects, a pass in English, in maths, and in a second language. The second language can be Polish or your home language. If you're applying from Latvia, it can be Latvian, for example. And then you have to meet the English language requirement that can be met through your IB, for example, or if you don't do an international qualification in English already, you can just submit an English language qualification, such as an IELTS, a Cambridge, a TOEFL, but even Duolingo test, online test, we accept. And last but not least, unfortunately, there's also course-specific requirements and CAO points, which we call the competitive requirements. So some courses will also require you to have not only a pass in English, maths, and a second language, but also, for example, if you're interested in doing natural sciences, you will also have to submit to have some scientific subjects. And then there's the CAO points that you might not be familiar with, but I will briefly explain those to you as well. So bear with me. So what happens to Irish students? They get CAO points for their best 6 subjects in their leaving certificate, which is their final high school degree. They can earn a maximum of 625 points. That means that every single student in Ireland that applies through the CAO will be assessed based on their points, with 625 being the highest and then going down from there. Why am I telling you this? You're not Irish, you're not doing your leaving certificate. However, every European high school curriculum is benchmarked against the system. So if you're doing a Polish matura or an IB or whatever other European high school diploma, you will also earn CAO points. So your final results will be converted into CAO points. You might be stressing out a little bit now here and saying, where do I find this information? Don't worry, this is very public information. It's published on the CAO website and also on every single university's personal website. At Trinity, we have a thing called country pages. So there's a country page for every single country. So if you're applying from Estonia, you go under E and you find Estonia. And you can find all the information for Estonian students specifically and how to convert the points from Estonian into Irish points. So don't worry about that. I didn't include any specific example except for the International Baccalaureate. But let me just say that whatever you see on the screen today is what was true for the 2025 entry. So this criteria is reviewed and updated each year. So please take this with a grain of salt because it might not be exactly how it will be next year. So, but for this year, for example, students had to meet the minimum entry requirements that you see on the left-hand side of the slide, and then their final IB score was transformed into CAO points, as you can see on the right-hand side of the slide. And this is how you convert the points and how you can kind of understand if you meet the requirements or not. So let's get to the fees and scholarships. And again, here, at least I have really great news for most of you, I'm guessing. It's because at Trinity, we are a publicly funded university. So there's 3 fee structures mainly. If you are an EU tax resident and an EU citizen, for example, you are a Polish national living in Poland, in that case, you are eligible for the Irish Free Fees Initiative, which means that it's the Irish government that takes care of the tuition fees for you, which is great. That means that you're only liable to pay for the student contribution, which is currently 2,000 euros per year. And this is everything you need to pay as tuition. If you are a tax resident of the EU, EFTA, UK, but you don't have a passport that is European, for example, you have an Indian passport and you live in Poland, then in that case, you are liable for EU fees that are generally speaking between 5,000 and 8,000 euros per year, depending on the program that you choose. And then if you're none of those things, you're a non-EU candidate, and in this case, you are liable for non-EU fees. But I'm assuming that most people on the call today fall under either, like, at least the first two categories. In any case, we do offer a number of scholarship opportunities to all the categories of students, whether they pay tuition or not. So don't worry about that. If you need some financial help, you can apply for the scholarships available to you. They're all listed on our website. They're mainly merit-based, but we also have need-based, nationality-based in some cases, program-based. If you're interested in STEM, for example, we have STEM-specific scholarships. So you can go on our website and check them out. You will be able to apply to multiple ones, by the way, but since we try to give as many scholarships to as many students as possible, if you're allocated more than one internal scholarship, in that case, we will ask you to choose one. And of course, you can go for the most substantial one, but generally speaking, you can apply for multiple ones if you need to. So another thing that might be of interest to someone that comes from abroad, especially, is where you can live. So I have to be honest here, Dublin is facing a little bit of a housing crisis, like many other European capital cities, unfortunately. So I have to be honest about this. However, the good news is that Trinity has Trinity-owned and Trinity-recommended accommodation options to offer their students. So if you want to apply for accommodation, you can do so, and this is a completely separate application procedure. You don't have to wait for the CAO offers to actually apply for accommodation, because we do room allocation on a temporary basis. So for example, if you apply for a room at Trinity, we will allocate the room to you temporarily, and then if you also get an offer from the course that you chose, then you can just secure your room and not be worried about it. Or if you for some reason don't decide not to accept the offer, in that case your provisional room is reallocated to a late applicant or someone that was waitlisted. So that's how it works. You don't need to wait for the official offer. You can actually apply previously. There's no costs attached to the application. Obviously, you will have to pay rent once you get the room, and we have quite a few options available to you. In Trinity Hall specifically, we do prioritize international and first-year students, so you might have good chances of getting something there. It can be either a single or a shared room facility in that case. So where can you learn more about Trinity? If everything I told you so far is of interest to you, but you might have lost some pieces of information here and there, don't worry. Everything I told you is published on our website, so you can find it again. On our website, as I mentioned, but there's also a section on the website that I like to highlight. It's the Talk to Our Students section. So we currently have almost 60 wonderful student ambassadors. You will find their faces, their names, the programs they're enrolled in, and also their nationality on our website. So if you're interested in talking to someone that comes from your same country or that is doing the course that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to them. They are a great and very friendly source of information. And they're not like me. I'm just an employee at Trinity. They are the ones doing the courses. So they are the ones that have a lot of information that might be useful to you. And again, they're also very, very helpful and friendly. If you have questions for me, on the other hand, here you can also see my personal email address. I'm very happy to accept any follow-up questions after this presentation. And there's also the address of the academic registry, which is the unit that takes care of all the applications, admissions, registrations, etc. So you will become familiar with academic registry once you come to Trinity. To know if Trinity is a good fit for you, by the way, depending on how old you are at this point, there's many options as well. First of all, our campus is always open to the public. So if you ever find yourself in Dublin with your family and friends, please feel free to book a free campus tour that we offer to all our prospective students. We also have winter and summer schools, especially in the STEM and health sciences. So if you have an interest in those topics and subjects, come to Trinity for a few weeks, do a course here and see if that could be of interest to you. We have undergraduate open days coming up every year in November. And again, as I mentioned, campus tours. So feel free to see if you really like, the atmosphere, if you like the facilities, if you like our teachers. It's a great way to make up your mind for your future studies. Here, I usually like to conclude my presentations with a little video about inspiration and how Trinity has inspired past and present generations of students to become great professionals in their own field, but also great global citizens. But obviously, this can also be checked out later on. As I mentioned, I like to kind of break up my presentations, because otherwise I feel like I just give too many information to the students at once. But I guess I see that there's a lot of questions coming into the chat. So I'll try to just conclude at this point and leave the floor to you to answer any questions you might have. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Chiara. This was a very fantastic and informative presentation. There is indeed a lot of questions, but before we start answering those, let me just tell you all a little bit more about Baltic Council, so the host of this event. So we are basically a company that helps all prospective students with applications to Ireland and any other country that you might want to be applying to that does hold studies in English. We are based in the Baltics and a couple of other countries, which I will list in just a second. But first of all, how can we help you? So basically, we support you from the moment of choosing a university and your field of study. So we guide you through that. We then help you gather in one place all of the necessary sorry, the presentation just disappeared for a second. There we go again. So we help you gather all of the necessary documents, and we help you with submitting it. We help you go through all of the portals, because it might be confusing a lot of the times. Even CAO, which is a fairly simple portal, for someone that has never seen it before, can be quite confusing. So we are with you throughout that entire journey. We stay in contact with you and with the university if needed. And we also keep track of deadlines, not only deadlines for submitting the application, but also deadlines such as accommodation application deadlines, which were mentioned before, because it is very different sometimes. So like Chiara mentioned, you can apply for accommodation before the results are released. So we are basically here to guide you through that entire process and be with you and help you. So it is as easy and smooth as possible. And we are here in so many countries that hopefully you can find our help wherever you are. So we are in Poland, we are in Slovakia, we are in Hungary, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. On the screen, you can see the contact details to each office. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you need any help with applications or just finding out about the different opportunities you might have in Ireland, in Europe, or if you have any questions about Trinity, we will help with those as well. And now, because we only have about 15 minutes left, I would like to answer a couple of the questions. I have seen quite a lot asking about the application process. Just to kind of not get too hung up on that. If you want to find out how the CAO points are being distributed for your specific certificate, so whether you're from Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, or Estonia, or Hungary, you can go to the CAO website, and on the CAO website there is a downloadable PDF document called Entry Requirements Criteria for EU Applicants. And in that document, you will find very, very specific guidelines on which subjects you need to take, how many of them, what will be approximately the points you will get for which kind of results. So for those questions, it is best to go to that website, to the CAO website, and read that document, because it will most definitely answer those questions. And if you still cannot find the answer, then please come to us, contact one of the offices that is the closest to you, and then we will help you with understanding how it works, and basically how you can apply and whether you can apply with the subjects that you're doing currently or your predicted results on Matura or any other certificate that you're doing. So I will kind of skip past a few of the questions, such as whether we accept Latvian, whether Ireland accepts Latvian certificate of secondary education. Yes, they do. But some other very interesting questions that we will answer, because I think those are actually quite interesting. I will now display them. So just give me a second. There we go. This is one is quite interesting. It is with regards to the Polish education system. But to be honest, I'm pretty curious myself about this. So Dominika is asking if in Poland someone is taking a subject at a bilingual level, which in Poland is considered higher than advanced or extended level. Is there any way to certify that and for that to be taken into account through CAO, or is basically that subject still going to be treated as a standard level?
As far as I know, there's no real difference between those, because in Switzerland it's similar. We also have, being a multilingualistic country, we have the opportunity as students to study in bilingual mode, but as far as I know, it's not taken into consideration. However, this would be rather a question for the CAO or the academic registry, the admissions offices of each and every university. So you could try to reach out to the CAO or to our academic registry to see if there is an additional recognition of this type of qualification, because I agree, it's an additional level of challenge that you add into it. But as far as I know, it's not something that will allow you to gain more points.
Lovely. All right. So the next question would be if there is a preferred language exam, for example, IELTS or CAA.
No, so we accept all of them at the same level. So IELTS, Cambridge, TOEFL, Duolingo, and Pearson's are all accepted equally. You obviously will have to reach a different score because they're all different, like they have different scoring systems, but it's generally speaking at least the B2 level. So for each and every test, you will find the band that you have to reach in that sense. I'm assuming they're referring to the English language exam, not the language qualification that we were talking about before, like the subject.
Yeah, I think so. I think this was about the certificate.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But from what you said as well, just to reiterate, in terms of the subjects, if it says 2 languages, English and, for example, Polish is accepted, just so you all know that. So you don't need to take Irish, right?
No, not even all Irishans take Irish, so it's definitely not a prerequisite for students coming from outside of Ireland. I'm currently trying to learn the language. It's very challenging. So.
I can imagine, definitely. So another question that we've got was, what are the requirements for arts courses? For example, graphic design. Do you have a portfolio that you need to upload as well?
So graphic design specifically is one of the few courses that we don't offer. So we don't have anything in the design department. When we talk about arts, at Trinity is generally speaking more performing arts. So we have acting, directing, music, film, and those type of arts offered at Trinity. So if you're interested in graphics and design and things like that, it's probably Trinity might not be the best fit for you. When it comes to other arts courses, then the minimum entry requirements are the same. The ones I mentioned, the 6 recognized subjects, and then a pass in English, maths, and a second language. And if you're interested in acting and directing, in that case, you will be applying to our affiliated school, which is the Lear Academy of Performing Arts. So in that case, a portfolio will also be considered, and you will be auditioned as well. So it's a slightly different process for that specific course, yes.
Okay, thank you. We have another pretty complicated question. It might be one of those that will need to go to the registry as well, to the admissions team. But Veronica is asking whether if she will get, basically, if she will be in a competition in Poland that then results in basically an automatic 100% from that subject on Matura. So this is just what happens in Poland. You get 100% on advanced level. For example, for mathematics, if you're a winner or a finalist of a mathematics Olympiad or competition, it does then state that you were exempt from that subject on the certificate of maturity. And she is asking whether, if that happens, will that be counted at all? Because she did found on the website that subjects marked exempt will not be included in the calculations.
So that's an excellent question. So there's 2 things to consider. On one hand, there's the subject requirements, and then on the other hand, there's the CAO points. So the subject requirements can be met even with this exemption of 100% earned in the official contest. However, the subject will probably not be taken into consideration for point calculation, which is a separate thing. So it's the 2 different requirements that we were talking about before. It's a bit tricky because students in Poland can gain 25 additional bonus points if they're awarded 40% at extended level maths in their certificate of maturity, but maths has to be counted for points to receive those 25 additional bonus points. So if they have the 100% that is kind of exempted, then it could be a bit tricky. I don't know if they will actually gain the 25 additional bonus points for maths. So this is definitely a question that I would address to our academic registry, because it's true that it's a little bit of a peculiar system.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit tricky. So I would go with this to either CEO or the academic register as well, just to confirm.
Yes. I don't want to give you an information that is not 100% correct. So
absolutely. Right, but we have about 6 minutes left. So let me just streamline through a few more questions. Edwards is asking whether there will be access to the full recording of this meeting. Yes, there will be. We will send this to you after the meeting. And another question from Ola is if she can work during her studies.
Yeah, excellent question. And it's very important, especially if you need to earn a little bit of money on the side. So all students are allowed to work if you're a European student coming in without the visa requirement, because obviously European students can come into Ireland without any immigration requirement in that sense, they can work as much as they like. If, on the other hand, you're a non-European candidate, you can still work, but there is a cap on how many hours you can work. In that case, it's 20 hours per week during term time and full-time during semester breaks, for example. So it's still quite a lot of time, especially if you're doing full-time study. Honestly, I don't think many students might be able to work more than 20 hours anyway. But yeah, that's just to keep in mind. But yeah, European students can work as much as they like once they come here for studying purposes.
That's a great news, because the money might be needed. Always some extra money is a good opportunity to help you sustain yourself while you study. Another question. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I mentioned our wonderful student ambassador. So there's also the opportunity to work with Trinity as a student ambassador too. We pay our student ambassador, so that's also an option there.
Yeah, I myself, when I studied in the UK, but I also worked as a student ambassador, so I can definitely confirm it's a great opportunity, and the pay is usually much better than, for example, I don't know, McDonald's or a coffee shop, because the universities usually pay kind of more of a living wage than a minimum wage. Yes. We have another question about Baltic Council, so let me answer that. So Ola again is asking if we can help if she doesn't have an IB. Absolutely, we help with all applications from all systems, as long as your certificate is accepted in the country or the university that you want to apply to, we can absolutely help you with the application. So that's no problem. There's like a few more questions I can see about entry requirements and whether specific subjects or certificates are being accepted. We don't really have time to answer all of those, but again, go to the CEO website, read the document. It will definitely help you a lot, or come to us, come to Baltic Council, set up a meeting, and then we can discuss this with you. There is a question about medicine as well. Alina is asking about whether she understands correctly that for a medical degree at Trinity, HPAT exam needs to be also taken. As far as I know, yes, but please confirm.
That's exact. So the HPAT test is a 2.5-hour online test. You can take it from your own home in your own country. It only happens once a year though, so be aware that the deadline to apply is around mid-January, and then the exam takes place in mid-February. And the points from the HPAT test will be added on top of your CAO points to reach the competitive requirements for medicine only. So if you're interested in biology, pharmacy, nursing, you don't need it. But if you're interested in medicine, you need to take the HPAT test if you're a European candidate. Yes.
Lovely. So we have, I think, about time for maybe one more question.
Yeah.
So there is a question about single sitting and what it means, and whether someone can take exams in 2 different periods.
So in many cases, if you're doing a high school diploma in Europe, you will have to do everything in a single sitting, meaning that you have to take it in the same year. So you have to take your final exams in your final year. So in some cases, for example, we had students asking, can I just resit an exam the next year or things like that? And in some cases, it's not allowed. If that's the case, it will say on the document that you were referencing earlier that it's not allowed. If it's allowed, it will say also explicitly that multiple sessions can be considered. So it really depends on where you're applying from, with which qualification. If it says that it has to be in a single sitting, it means that you have to take all the exams at the same time in the same year. That's generally what it means.
Lovely. Okay, I'll allow one more question because it is a pretty fair question.
Yeah.
So Alex is asking, what does the €2,000 yearly fee cover?
Okay, so the student contribution is for whatever the tuition fee doesn't cover. So, for example, the exams, the use of the facilities, and all those kind of things are under the student contribution. So the €2,000 yearly cover those type of fees that are outside of the regular academic teaching sessions, if it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a few other questions. There was a question about partnership with Columbia and what are the details of that. Again, for that, I would definitely send you back to the website because you can find out a lot about that. Or you can maybe email Chiara or the academic registry. They can tell you more about that. We will be finishing now because there is another webinar just starting. So I do recommend also attending that. It is right now we are starting with a webinar about studying in the Netherlands with the guests from HC University of Applied Sciences. So it is starting right now. So if you want to join, you are free to go. But otherwise, thank you very much. Thank you, Chiara, for joining us, for being so informative in your presentation and also in answering all of the questions. I'm sorry to everyone that we didn't answer all of the questions, but once again, if you do have specific questions about the application process, do go to CAO website, do contact the academic registry or come to us. That's another great option. We can always help you. We can always explain how the application works. So once again, all of the offices will be able to help you out. So go to your local one. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.